Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dimensions and Travel virtual event for our journey to Portugal and going on a cruise on the Douro River. I'm Diana St. James, and I am one of the owners of Dimensions and Travel, along with Jill Romano. And we are so happy to see travel coming back again. But I have to admit, over the months, these virtual events have been almost as good as traveling. And they always give me an opportunity to really focus on a destination. Today, I've got on my earrings from Portugal. So not only will we be traveling there virtually, but I have a chance to dress up as well, too. But before we get started with our virtual event, some reminders. We are recording this, of course. And all of you, we've got you in listen only and cameras off mode just to minimize distractions and keep as much bandwidth open as possible for our event. And finally, as always, please post your questions down below in the chat box. Jill will try to answer them during the presentation if it might be something specific for you. Otherwise, we might save it for the end if it's something we think everybody'd like to hear about. So we are so excited to travel today to Portugal and just briefly a hop over to Spain with Uniworld Boutique River Cruises. We will be boarding our riverboat in historic Porto, which is an incredible city, and then follow the Douro River past quaint villages, terrace vineyards, and the dramatic landscapes of the Douro Valley, which is a UNESCO designated site. We're going to go ashore and meet some filmmakers, taste in the local markets, see prehistoric drawings, which was an unexpected thing for me to discover that was a part of Portugal, and tour a hilltop castle. In Salamanca, Spain, we're going to be visiting the famous university found in the 12th century. And then our journey is going to end in Lisbon, a city that has launched some of our most famous explorers. And this all inclusive cruise, I think, is one of Portugal's best kept secrets and a wonderful way to experience the country. So now I would like to introduce my business partner and agency co owner, Jill Romano. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Diana. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am so pleased to be able to introduce you all to Matthew Coles. He is the Strategic Account Manager for the Pacific Northwest with Uniworld River Cruises. We have been working with Matthew for many years, and his knowledge of their worldwide itineraries, along with his personal travel experience, is certainly a vital partnership for us. Through in-person and now virtual training, he continues to support and assist our team to expertly create the most amazing trips for you all around the world. Matthew has been with Uniworld for nearly 5 years. He enjoys traveling throughout Europe and sampling the food and red wines of the region. His favorite thing about working with Uniworld is that it's a privately owned, family-owned company that gives back to the regions they travel through. And the Tolman family in the travel industry is revered and respected and well loved for all of their products and, of course, their philanthropic projects as well. One of the delights of Uniworld for Matthew is their culinary philosophy, which is ever evolving and designed to appeal to a healthier dining options on board, full of flavor and a variety of traditional dishes inspired by contemporary flavors and, of course, farm-to-table cuisine. I have been very fortunate to have traveled to Spain and Portugal, and today I'm very much looking forward to, as I know all of you are, for Matthew to take us away on a journey to Spain and Portugal. And I will now turn it over to Matthew. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jill. Thank you very much. And I'm very excited to talk about Uniworld today, everybody. And I always like to start out with this slide. If you look up in the upper left-hand corner there, that is an example of our suite on our ship that is brand new in Italy. We are the only river cruise line who cruises Venice, the Po River, and it is high style by the House of Fortuny. I also wanted to show you down here to the lower left corner, we also have new cruise and rail packages. So when you're looking at our brochure, whether online or in person, if you have one in your hand, we have new cruise and rail journeys as well. So let's just get going and talk a little bit more about Uniworld and then Spain, Portugal, and the Douro River Valley. So with Uniworld, we always talk about living your best life. You deserve the best. We take the posture that everything we do is focused on a singular goal to give our customers a memorable experience, no matter what. Here's an example. I mean, this is our SS Bon Voyage. This is a ship in Bordeaux. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous ship that is very yacht-like. You feel like it's your own yacht when you pull up into port. At Uniworld, we have 5 unique selling points that we are the most awarded luxury river cruise line in the business. We are the most all-inclusive river cruise line, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And then outstanding service. Our service truly comes from the heart. We always say that no request is too large, no detail is too small. And then all of our ships, you guys, every single one of them is unique. Each ship is a luxurious, artfully inspired, floating boutique hotel. If you didn't know this about Uniworld, they're owned by the Tolman family, like Jill had mentioned. And the Tolmans have been in the travel business for many, many years. They owned over 40 travel brands around the world. And one of the travel brands is Red Carnation Hotels. You probably know Red Carnation Hotels and don't even know it. Every time you look at Buckingham Palace, the hotel across the street is a Red Carnation Hotel, the Rubens. And all of these Red Carnation hotels are little boutique hotels, 28, 32 rooms, very small, very luxurious, individually designed for the area that they're reside. And we like to say when the Tolman family took over Uniworld and started Uniworld, that they've decided to turn the ships into floating boutique hotels. So each of our ships is a one of a kind. And here's what's also special. The Tolman family has a huge collection of artwork, from Van Goghs to Picassos to Andy Warhols, Matisse. And guess where they are? They're on board our ships and in the Red Carnation hotel rooms. So it is not uncommon in your suite to sleep next to a Picasso. Yes, an original Picasso or an Andy Warhol or a Matisse or a Van Gogh. It's just amazing. I truly feel special when I'm on board our ships. Also, every one of our ships offers delicious farm-to-table cuisine. B. Tolman, the owner, wrote a cookbook back in the day called A Life in Food. And she always felt that guests should have the very best food of the region they're traveling through. So she wrote this excellent cookbook that many of our restaurants and on board our ships, a lot of the menu items are from B. Tolman's cookbook. So all the food is farm to table. Also, with Uniworld, we are the most all-inclusive. And a lot of people say, well, what does that really mean? Well, that does mean that includes all your shore excursions. That's right. We have a choice of carefully curated experiences every single day. And sometimes you can choose from 1, 2, 3 different shore excursions in a day, and they're all included in your cruise fare. Now, let's just talk a little bit about what is included with your all-inclusive cruise fare. I want to get this out of the way first before I talk a little bit more about the itinerary. But what's included with your all-inclusive cruise fare? Number 1, you get the highest staff to guest ratio in the business. Our ships are around, like the Douro, that ship holds 100 passengers if you put 2 people in every stateroom. But we have singles that travel, so it usually travels with around 70 to 82 passengers, give or take. So we have and the staff is around 50 to 60 people, so it's practically 2 to 1, the highest staff to guest ratio in the business. So all your gratuities are included with Uniworld. All your gratuities on board the ship, so you don't have to worry about gratuities for your cabin attendant, maitre d', or your waiter. That's all included with your all-inclusive cruise fare at Uniworld. all scheduled round trip airport transfers. That's right. You're not going to spend an extra $200 to get to the port because your airport transfers are included as long as you're coming in the day of embarkation or disembarkation. If you buy a pre or a post with Uniworld, we also include the airport transfers, but you don't have to worry about purchasing extra airport transfers because they're always included with Uniworld. Butler service in every suite. If you get a suite, you get a butler. And our butlers were trained by the same company who trains Buckingham Palace butlers. So our butlers are the real McCoy. And the reason why I say that is because some of the other cruise lines, they do have butler service, but those same butlers also wait tables at night and they also wash dishes in the kitchen. Not our butlers. Our butlers are the real McCoy dedicated to serving you. 24-hour room service if you and for every stateroom. That's right. If you're jonesing for French fries in the middle of the night, let's say 2 in the morning, just give us a ring and we'll be happy to deliver. So we have 24-hour room service and concierge service. Delicious farm to table cuisine, locally sourced within 50 to 100 miles of where we cruise. Unlimited beverages. That's right. All of your beverages are included, including premium spirits and wine in the region we travel through, and beer. And it's not just at lunchtime or dinner, it's all day long, anytime you want it. And a lot of people don't realize that. And that is a huge game changer when it comes to booking with Uniworld. All of your beverages are included. And it doesn't mean well bar, that means Grey Goose vodka, Kettle One. It's totally up to you, but all your beverages are included. Also, a choice of enticing shore excursions, and it's always led by an English-speaking local expert. Onboard fitness centers. We realize that fitness is very important to our customers, and we have state-of-the-art fitness centers on every one of our ships, as well as daily yoga classes and TRX classes or wellness classes. We even have complimentary Nordic walking sticks and bikes on most of our ships as well. Ship-wide Wi-Fi access. You know how you get on board a ship sometimes and you're surprised to know that you got to pay another $25 a day for Wi-Fi? Not with Uniworld. It's all included in your all-inclusive cruise fare. So whether you're in your stateroom or up on the lounge or in the dining room or on the top deck, you get Wi-Fi access everywhere with Uniworld. Onboard local entertainment. I know every ship offers entertainment, but we also have local entertainment that it comes on board the ship. It's not the same person singing every single night. And we have signature lectures on board the ship too. I will talk to you about what we're going to offer during the cruise, but we have signature lectures every night around right before dinner that talk about where we're going to go throughout the week, so you can so you can decide what you're going to plan, what excursion you're going to sign up for. So let's just look at our staterooms a little bit. I talked about all of our rooms are like floating boutique hotels. If you look at that bed, first of all, it's a Savoir bed from England. Savoir makes some of the most comfortable beds in the world, and every stateroom on our ships has a Savoir bed from England in it. Also, the duvets and the duvet covers, you have 1,000 count Egyptian cotton. They're very comfortable. You get a pillow menu if you want a soft pillow, a firm pillow, a hyperallergenic pillow, or a down pillow, or a different pillow every night, or one of each kind. It's totally up to you. And that is also included in your all-inclusive cruise fare. I just wanted to show you an example of these lovely staterooms. And here's a French balcony where it's floor to ceiling windows. Okay, outstanding service. I love this slide, everybody. I wanted to bring it up because the gentleman on the left is a captain of one of our ships, and he's been a captain for, gosh, I think 33 years now. And he has been with Uniworld for many, many years, and he's been on many of our ships. And see this gentleman to his right, if you're looking at it, two to the right with a big smile, just like his dad. Yes, that's his son. This gentleman right here used to work with his father in the engine rooms when he was a little boy, and now he's the captain of his own ship with Uniworld. What does that tell you? It tells you that we treat our staff like family, and it's a true testament that we really appreciate, and we treat our employees like family. And most of our employees have a tenure with Uniworld for 11 and a half years as the average tenure. Because a lot of them on other cruise lines, they hop from ship to ship because they're on contracts, but not with Uniworld. They're all employees. Okay, let's just talk about that bar again a little bit. There's the unlimited pours, the Kettle One, the Grey Goose, the Bombay Sapphire, the Maker's Mark. The choice is yours. I just wanted to give you a little snapshot of what you can expect. And then that delicious farm to table cuisine that I was talking about. There's one of our chefs. It is not uncommon to see one of the chefs off board the ship shopping at the local farmers market. You know how in Marin we have a local farmers market that's open on Sundays from 9 to 1, or on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, but not in Europe. It's every day there's a farmers market. I always think it's because the refrigerators are so small, but the food is fresh, 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 locally sourced within 50 to 100 miles of where we cruise. Okay, so let's talk about our shore excursions a little bit. All of our shore excursions are not the plain Jane city tours, or not the plain Jane, um, this is what we do with everybody. We have exclusive experiences. Here's just an example of one of our cruise ships pulling up to a vineyard, and we get out of the ship. We go into the vineyard. We get to meet the vintner, and they bring a sample of the wine so that we can have a little taste to see how it's going. And then when you get back on the ship, they're serving that wine for dinner. I mean, talk about an immersive experience. Let's just talk a little bit more about that. So let's just give an example, just in case you're interested in some other itineraries besides Spain, Portugal, and the Douro River. Here's some examples of what we do. Exclusive experiences. One of the most popular first-time river cruises for anybody is called Castles Along the Rhine. And when we do Castles Along the Rhine, there is, we either start or end in Amsterdam. And when you're in Amsterdam, we go to the Hermitage Museum. And that museum, people are lined up outside around the block, but not with Uniworld. It's closed to the public, open for Uniworld guests only. We call it Morning with the Masters. You get to go behind that velvet rope and talk to the curator about that piece of art. Or let's go golfing. Here's one down here in Paris and Normandy itinerary. We have a golf course called Etriat. And at Etriat, every one of our Uniworld guests has tea times. It's a golf course that takes 3 to 4 months to get into, but not with Uniworld. Every one of our guests has the ability to golf at Etriat. Or Burano Island, I mentioned we go to Venice. We're the only river cruise line who does that. And you've all heard about how the big cruise ships aren't allowed in Venice anymore, but not Uniworld. Our ship is quite small, around 100, 120 passengers. So we have a brand new ship there. And now we spend the night on Burano Island, which is one of the islands in the Venetian Lagoon. These are just little examples of exclusive experiences, or the landing beaches and cemeteries of Normandy, France, or going to Bordeaux and going to La Côte du Vin, which is the modern wine museum of the world. It's truly amazing. These are just some little examples. So let's get going about accolades. I just wanted to share with you, if you didn't believe me, these are some of the awards. We are the most awarded river cruise line in the business. And these are some of the awards from Travel and Leisure, Condé Nast, Cruise Critic, the Magellan Awards, the Globe winners over the years. We're very proud of these, and you deserve the best when you cruise with Uniworld. So where do we go? We cover every river in Europe: the Rhine, the Rhone, the Seine, the Saône, Spain, Portugal, and the Douro River Valley, which we're going to talk about a little bit more today. And then that Venice, Italian, Venetian Grand Canal experience. And then Russia, we have some great train packages in Russia next year. We're very excited to offer Trans-Siberian Express. And exotics, we do have several exotics around the world. We have 2 ships in Egypt now. We have the SS Sphinx, and Egypt is off the hook. It's on everybody's bucket list. And we have a brand new ship in Peru. We're doing the Amazon, 11 or 15 days. It's only 32 passengers, you guys. That's 16 cabins. And that's if you put 2 people in every room. And we also do Vietnam and Cambodia. That is a brand new ship too this year with only 58 guests on board. And we do the Ganges in India. And we did do the Yangtze River in China, but we're suspending that for now, and you know why. So let's just talk about what is new for 2021. We have the Mekong Jewel, which is Vietnam and Cambodia. She debuted in January of 2020, but we know how that happened, what happened last year. And then the SS Sao Gabriel, Spain, Portugal, and the Douro River. The itinerary I'm going to talk to you about today is exactly in Spain, Portugal, and the Douro River, and we have a brand new ship there. So it's very exciting. We have the newest ship in the business in Spain, Portugal. And then we have the SS La Venetia, I mentioned in Italy, and then the SS Sphinx in Egypt. These are 4 brand new ships this year. And what's not on there is the one in Peru, the Amazon, and we just added that one as well. So new itineraries, there we go. We got the cruise and rail packages. I already mentioned that. We have a new classic Germany and Amsterdam itinerary just in case. Rhine, Main, the Danube Discovery is new for this year, and the Peruvian Amazon and the Machu Picchu exploration. So check those out. So with that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the programs we have on board. We have a program called Generations Collection, where grandparents, we call it skip gen travel, where they like to skip a generation. Grandma and grandpa don't want to take their own kids, but they want to take their grandkids to have more of a bonding experience. And we have several itineraries where we have generations programs, kids programs. It's usually during the summer and then during the Christmas holiday breaks when the kids are out of school. It's not every departure. And if you're not interested in having children on board the ship, then do not book a generations program. We only have about 6 to 10 per year, so it's not every departure. And we do capacity control them, but it's a great program. And then we also have Jewish heritage programs on several itineraries. The Remarkable Rhine and Historic Holland and the Authentic Danube in Prague. We have complimentary Jewish heritage excursions that concentrate on Jewish-inspired architecture and synagogues and museums and artwork. So you can check that out too. And we also have a solo traveler program. We just put out a little blurb today saying that we have additional single supplement waived for the 2021. So if you're still interested in traveling this year, we have waived single supplements. And if you don't know about single supplements, if you're a single traveler, you know you pay twice as much as everybody else, but not with Uniworld. We have select dates that have waived or reduced single supplements. And we always make our solo traveler feel comfortable by offering a welcome cocktail party on board from the captain for all the solo travelers, so you get to meet other solo travelers. So with that, I also wanted to just talk a little bit about, the elephant in the room. What are we doing to make sure that you're comfortable? Well, you can book and cruise with confidence with Uniworld. Number one, we are debt free. The family owns all those ships, all of the real estate for those hotels. We are debt free and we don't owe a dime to anybody. And also, we are going to give you peace of mind by having that high staff to guest ratio. We have HEPA filters on all of our ships with constant air changes. We have a product called Premium Purity Plus that we spray on between every departure that continuously sanitizes. And then we also have a crew that really keeps the ship immaculate at every turn. So don't worry, you can book with confidence with Uniworld. So wellness on the water, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about fitness. When it comes to fitness, we have those daily yoga classes. I wanted you to see what some of our bikes look like. And here's a pool too up here in the left-hand corner. And believe it or not, for all the ships that have pools on them, there's music underwater. Can you believe that? Now that's a luxury experience. So with that, let's just talk a little bit about tread right. So Jill mentioned that one of the things about the Tolman family is we give back to the communities that we serve, and we preserve the areas through the Tread Right Foundation. It's a foundation that introduced a clean water program. Just to share with you, we have no single-use plastic products on any of our ships, no plastic bottles, no plastic bags. It's all sustainable, and we're very proud of that. And then we also are very, very welcoming. It's very LGBT friendly. Everybody is welcome on Uniworld. So let's talk about something very exciting, and it's Portugal, Spain, and the Douro River. And as you can tell, I'm in Porto right now, and this is really exciting. So let's just talk about the ship a little bit here. Number one, it's a brand new ship. She was she was supposed to come out last year, but we all know what happened there. So this year, we did our first sailing on the 1st of July. It's 100 guests. There's nearly 40 staff members on board with more suites, more balconies, deluxe, classic, you name it, whatever you want, we have it on board the ship for you. And it's a very contemporary design, more of a modern design this year. So with Spain, Portugal, and the Douro River, you'll have 7 nights of cruising. And then you'll also, if you go to Lisbon, if you'll do 3 nights in a hotel in Lisbon. I'll talk a little bit more about that. All your meals are included, your excursions are included, and you're going to see up to 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. We're very proud to be able to offer that to our guests. So let's just talk about day one. Day one, everybody gets into Porto and everybody's going to be like, wow, oh my gosh, this city is so beautiful. You know, Portugal has been a hidden treasure for many, many, many years. And it's now flourishing as one of the most beautiful, gorgeous countries in Europe. And it has the best climate. It's got that Mediterranean climate that we have in that Bay Area. And it's really lovely and it's full of history. And it's one of the major reasons why we really love Portugal. And it's very well sold out almost all the time, every one of our sailings. So on day number 2, after we get you on board the ship and you get to your stateroom, you're going to see Porto, and you're going to have a choice today to do a Porto city tour, or do as the locals do and do a Porto walking tour. And just to share with you, you know, Porto is a city that is renowned for their wine, their wonderful, wonderful wine. And the Portuguese know how to do it. So today is a day that you're going to be introduced to Porto, and you're going to have the opportunity to do as a local. As a matter of fact, if you do as the locals do Porto walking tour, because there's 2 tours, there's one that's on a coach and there's one that you walk, you'll actually get to be on one of their trams that's like a little funicular that goes through the streets of Porto. And then that evening, the very first evening, you're going to have a special captain's welcome reception and dinner that'll be prepared specifically for you. Now, day number 3, you're in Pinho. I practiced this many times. It's Pinho. And today you'll have the opportunity to go to a local quinta. A local quinta is like a historic manor or a palace, which is usually an agricultural estate, whether it be wine, so vines of grapes or olive groves. But we're going to have lunch at a local quinta, and you'll have the opportunity to see the Douro Museum. And the Douro Museum takes you back to the history of what the Porto has been their foundation on, which is the ancient ruins of Roman times. You don't realize how old things are when you go to Europe, but you'll definitely know that when you visit the Douro Museum. And it'll also talk about in the museum tour all the wines and how they were created over the years and how they were used as trade. So you'll be an expert on wine. And Pinho, on day 4, and you're going to head ashore for a choice of excursions today. You'll either have the opportunity to do a hike in a vineyard, and you'll have the opportunity to go to Quinta do Cerro, which is a guided tour of a vineyard hike that you'll go to a winery and you'll go to the estate and you'll go behind the scenes. It's just amazing. You will have an opportunity to do all kinds of wine tasting as well. And this is the one that Diana mentioned. There's an archaeological park. So let me just talk to you about this a little bit. So back in as early as 1990, they were scouting a project to do a dam in the area. And the archaeologists stumbled across, no kidding, a 22,000 years BC, before Christ, where they've come up with these carvings along the Coa River. And it's an astonishing collection of prehistoric carvings. I want to just share it with you a little bit here. Let's see if I can get that going. Look at that. It's amazing. 22,000 years. That's nearly 30. I mean, they were really surprised. Can you believe we're still uncovering things like this today? I mean, 1990s, that wasn't that long ago, right? So I wanted to share a little graphic there with you. And then we also, the next day, we're going to go to Vega de Terron, which is day number 5, and you'll visit a castle. It's a hilltop castle, and it's also the name of the village. So this castle is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and so is the next location, which is Salamanca. Oh, I did this backwards. I'm sorry. So this slide is about the castle, and this slide is Salamanca, which is the oldest university in Spain. And it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's one of the 7 that you'll have an opportunity to see. Also, going back to Castillo Rodrigo, you'll have an opportunity to go to this castle, this hilltop castle, as well as the name of the city. And they've done an excellent job preserving this castle and maintaining it so that you get an idea. I mean, it goes back to the 12th century. On day number 7, we're going to Regua. And Regua, this is where there's so much wealth and so many young visitors or people that live there. You'll have a choice to do a city tour or a walking tour. And this is also our last evening in this region of Porto, which gives also the captain an opportunity to do a farewell reception and a farewell dinner. But, you know, just a little bit about the Regua. This city tour, you'll get the opportunity to see these beautiful cobbled streets and the amount of wealth that was in the area. I mean, there was a lot of aristocracy that has built over the years, and the palaces and the chateaus and the beautiful, beautiful estates are unsurpassed. You'll have an opportunity to take this all in today on your last day. And then on day 8, we're going to disembark and we're going to get out of Porto. And then we're going to take a little motor coach ride because we're going to transfer to Lisbon. And when you transfer to Lisbon, we're the only company that does this, by the way. We really take you through a picturesque countryside to Lisbon where you'll check into your hotel, which is the Hotel Corinth. And when the next day, on day 9, when you get into Lisbon, you'll have the opportunity, and I recommend everybody to do this, to do a city tour. Because when you're in Lisbon, first of all, it's a very beautiful city. It is full of ornate structures and fortresses. And I'll show you, I think it's on the last slide of one of the fortresses, and it just doesn't do it justice at all. It's not only one of the oldest cities in Europe, and it's one of the oldest cities in the world. Lisbon is really a beautiful city, and you'll have the opportunity to take it all in, and you'll really learn a lot about it on that first day. So remember that. You think, oh, I don't want to be caught up on an excursion, but yes, you do, because you learn a lot about Lisbon, because you're going to have a free day to do some more things. And, you know, there's also some, remember, it's at the Tagus River, and your hotel, by the way, is the Corinthia Hotel, and it is very, very, very close to everything. It's in a great location, and of course, you're going to get breakfast every single day there, and you'll get an opportunity to go to Belém. Belém, let me just see if there it is, Belém. It's short for Bethlehem. If you see, that is a fortress, and you're like, oh my gosh, it looks pretty boring, but really this picture doesn't do it justice. If you want to Google it at home, go ahead and do it. It is just ornamented with these striking facades, and it is so beautiful. And this has gone all the way back from the 16th century, and this was used to guard the port of Lisbon. And then on day 10, oh, there's those little funiculars and rail cars. This is where you'll have an opportunity to really explore Lisbon on your own. So remember the other day when I said do the city tour, this is exactly why you should do the city tour, because you've got a day on your own to decide to do what you want to do. Did you see a great little pastry shop that you wanted to go back to? This is the day to do it. Or a museum that you really wanted to go to, this is the day to do it. Or some excellent shopping ideas that you saw during your city tour on day 9. So this is definitely the day to do it. So I hope I whet your appetite a little bit for the Spain, Portugal, and Douro River trip. It is one of the hottest destinations in our river cruise business. And I'm sorry to say, but on day 11, that is the last day of the itinerary, and that is when we depart. And I just wanted to recap that some of the highlights are definitely Castillo Rodrigo, which is a castle. Castillo is Portuguese for castle. And remember, you're going to see some of the greatest UNESCO heritage sites in the world, up to 7 of them. And so these are definitely itinerary highlights. So definitely see that medieval castle. And then as a returning guest, for those of you who have been on Uniworld in the past, we have an outstanding loyalty program. You get a welcome gift on your pillow when you arrive. You also get some members only offers. You get a dedicated phone number in case there's a special, but it always goes back to Dimensions and Travel if they booked you, because we like to book through travel agencies exclusively. You get a complimentary in-room fruit platter waiting for you upon arrival. And then the captain has a cocktail party in your honor. And if you didn't know this, we do complimentary laundry service if you're a repeat guest per sailing as well, once per sailing. So if you're belong to RHC, which is called River Heritage Club, our loyalty program, you get a special discount. And with Dimensions and Travel, everybody, I just want to mention that we give everybody at Dimensions and Travel a $150 per person shipboard credit on board the ship. And you can use that in the gift shop. You can use that to do with whatever you'd like. If you want to do a massage or a spa treatment, no problem. Use that shipboard credit of $150 per person towards that. And there's a couple of other specials that I wanted to talk to you about as well. So number 1, if this program sounds appealing to you and you want to book something with Dimensions and Travel, number 1, you get, if you're willing to pay in full at time of booking, we'll give you another 10% off. So if you're going to book a $12,000 trip, we'll give you another $1,200 off if you're willing to pay in full at time of booking. Also, as a River Heritage Club member, if you're a returning guest and you've booked with Uniworld in the past, you get an additional savings. And then we also have, I mentioned it earlier in the program, a 2021 single supplement waiver on select itineraries for 2021. So if you're interested in still traveling in 2021, we have waived single supplements or reduced single supplements. So with that, I just wanted to mention to you about groups. It only takes 5 cabins to make a group, everybody. And I know that most of you probably know 5 couples that would be happy to go on an itinerary together. And you can get additional savings if you actually put 5 cabins. Just go to Dimensions and Travel and talk to them about it, and you'll get additional savings, and you will get additional amenities by booking as a group. You get a lower cost, as well as you're all cross-referenced, and you get special pricing that's held for your group. And Dimensions and Travel can take care of that for you. So let's just talk about the Tolman family a little bit and the Travel Corporation. I told you we're privately owned. If you look up here to the left, here's one of our hotels called the 12 Apostles in Africa. Here is one called the Ashford Castle in Ireland. I'm sure you've heard of that. There's Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna. We don't own that, but it's just a nice shot there. And then here's one of the rooms in the Rubens Hotel, which is right across the street from Buckingham Palace. And I'm showing you this is because I wanted you to see that these hotel rooms look like our ships. They're floating boutique hotels. And I wanted to introduce you to the whole family down here. Here's Bee Tolman and her husband, and there's all the kids. And they live in South Africa. And here's Bee Tolman and her son, Brett Tolman, who is our CEO and COO of the Travel Corporation. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I really wanted to thank you so much for going on this journey with me today. So remember though, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. We'll be happy to entertain them. And then there's Dimensions 800 toll-free number, 800-828-2962, or you can always email info@dimensionsandtravel.com. And they have a great staff willing to help each and every one of you. So thank you so much, and I'll be happy to take any questions. I'm Matthew Coles.
Matthew, thank you so much for a deep dive into all that Uniworld has to offer, as well as a journey down the Douro. I have to say my favorite experience in Porto was the Lilo bookstore where J.K. Rowling worked while she was a young student. And it was absolutely the inspiration for Hogwarts. And when you wander through that bookstore, it is a must.
It is.
To see the phenomenal woodwork that is there and the many staircases. So that's just my little tip. Add that onto your itinerary.
Perfect.
Oh, I can absolutely second that. It's fabulous. Listen, Matthew, I know we have a short amount of time here, and I did share with a couple of folks that had some questions more around the health and safety, but maybe you could just take a brief moment and talk about, a lot of people are asking, we all as travelers have to be vaccinated to go just about anywhere these days or get on a ship. What specifically is Uniworld doing in terms of the crew? And then also, if you could just touch briefly what the protocol is should someone have a medical issue. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question, Jill. What we're doing, first of all, the protocols change pretty much almost hourly. It changes day after day. But we're finding that most all of our customers are vaccinated, although we require, the protocol is whatever the country is requiring is what we require at Uniworld. And in regards to masking at this time, it's still in the early stages. So if you were to travel this year, it would not be uncommon to see somebody in a mask in a public area. Of course, in your own stateroom, you're just fine, or out of doors. There are certain excursions that will require that if they're either vaccinated or they have a negative PCR test within a 72-hour period. That's pretty common nowadays. To have a PCR test. We have them available on all of our ships. And even if it's required to leave, or the airport you're flying out of, or the area that you're going to afterwards, whatever is required, if they require a PCR test, we will make those arrangements for you. I do want to say that we do not pick up the cost of the PCR test. That cost is, you can put that on your shipboard credit. You can put that on your folio. You can charge it to your room. It's not a big problem, but we will assist you to make sure that you get the appropriate tests when disembarking. And then on board the ship as well, we are cleaning on a regular basis, and we have constant air changes much greater than what is required by the WHO and even our own country, the CDC. So we are following and surpassing the requirements of the countries that we go to. I do want to say that many of the staff that is on board our ships, now remember, some of them, most of them in this area are from Spain and Portugal, so they're mostly vaccinated. But there are some that come from Slovakia and Romania that they don't have access to vaccinations. So those are the people that are tested on a regular basis to make sure that we keep all of our staff as well as our customers safe. And we also, in case somebody would need medical attention, let's just say somebody tests positive, right? I'll just say it. Somebody tests positive, it's 2 days before we're leaving. What are you going to do? Well, first of all, we quarantine that person in their room, and then we'd seek out medical assistance if needed. As you probably learned, there are many people that test positive that have no symptoms at all. They're asymptomatic. In that case, we would get the appropriate medical declaration in order to allow that person to travel to their next destination or back home. So we help you every step of the way. Don't worry, don't panic. We all got to get back out there and travel, and I know that I can't wait to do it, that's for sure. So we're there for you every step of the way. And just to share with you, before you actually get on our ship as well, we also ask for a medical travel declaration that lists if you've been ill or if you have a temperature. We also take your temperature as you're boarding the ship as well. Every time you get on board the ship, we're taking your temperature. And then if for some reason you are running a fever, we would take you aside to talk to you about that. We wouldn't let the whole ship know. So there's a lot of discretion involved as well. So I hope that helps that.
That's great. That's, I think, all the time we have. And that was such a thorough presentation. I think you've answered everybody's questions, but certainly just a reminder again to reach out to your Dimensions and travel advisor. I'll turn it back over to Diana.
Yep. I think you've covered everything. Thank you so much, Matthew, for joining us. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. We really appreciate it. Anyone who's listening to this as a recording later, thank you for taking the time. And if you'd like to talk with us about going to Portugal, please reach out to your favorite Dimensions and Travel consultant. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Bye. Thank you.